Hi, everybody. Well, it is now day 3 into the ascent of Carney as the media is giving him a tongue bath and spit shining him up and putting him out there and rah, rah, sis, boom, bah. Oh, he's so smart. Oh, he's an economic genius. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that. Oh, he's so smart. Oh, liberals and conservatives, they're neck and neck. I think it's all a bunch of phooey. And even today, I saw the pleb had posted on X a story from my old place of work, Global News, from a reporter who went to like a smash house where you could break things and you could smash pictures of Elon Musk, JD Vance, and Trump. This is how low they are going. This is how sort of crawling but underneath a rock Global News has become to put on a story like that. And of course, they don't endorse smashing Trump's face or Elon's face, but that that's what they're saying because because Tesla drivers are nervous as hell right now. But anyway, day 3 of Carney, as he signs this document in like President Trump style, because normally we don't have cameras show this. And Trump is being so transparent in the States, showing everything, holding like a press conference every day. I've never seen such. He's telling you, he's answering every questions that reporters from both sides are throwing at him. I don't know how much more transparent you want him to be. And Carney is trying to, I think, is he trying to like touch on that idea or something? I don't understand. Is he trying to associate himself with a Trumpy thing or disassociate himself? I don't know. But he showed himself with a Jiffy marker signing this document saying he's eliminating the consumer carbon tax. Which means that you won't be paying this at the pump, which you might not be, but he's taking it down to 0, which doesn't mean he's totally eliminating it, which means he can bring it back should he want to. And it is well known that he is passing that tax onto businesses, manufacturers, other industries that will have to eat that cost and then pass it on to the consumer anyway. He was asked about that in an interview, I believe, with Todd Battis, and Todd said, won't that trickle down? And he was kind of like, no, no, no. But basically, day 1, he's twitchy, he's nervous, not twitchy, but he's antsy and he's combative and he doesn't have the patience for questions. That's the first thing I noticed about him. Now it's day 3, he's basically lying to you because I'm going to read a bit of this article from the Toronto Sun. Carney held a cabinet meeting, invited TV cameras in, and held a Trump-style executive order signing that was nothing but a charade. TV cameras aren't normally allowed into Canadian cabinet meetings, but Carney, just hours after being sworn in as PM, invited the media to watch him sign away the consumer carbon tax. Based on the discussions we've had, and consistent with the promise that I had made and others supported, we will be eliminating the Canada fuel charge, blah, blah, blah. Well, the Liberals had been pushing this and shoving this down our throat, telling how much we needed to control our carbon. So, for when? I don't know. So, we need to drive ourselves into poverty so that, I don't know, in 30 years, we might be carbon neutral or something like that. Putting a carbon tax on Canadians. There's not one on China. There's not one on India. There's not one on the States. There's not one on Russia. No country that runs itself that pollutes has a carbon tax, but Canada does. And you expect Canadians to eat that? And yet Canadians never got mad about that. But God forbid Trump does a tariff. Now he's turned into Satan. But so back to this signing this thing. It says here, okay, immediately after that, Carney signed a document as if his signature wiped away the hated tax. To actually do away with the consumer portion of the carbon tax, but not the carbon tax completely, would require an act of parliament. The Greenhouse Gas Pollution Pricing Act was passed in 2018 and allows the governor in council, meaning cabinet, advising the governor general to adjust the tax rate, but not to do away with it. That's the first lie Carney and the Liberals told on the carbon tax. So it's not eradicating it. That has to be passed through Parliament. That hasn't happened yet because Parliament isn't sitting. Pierre addressed that.
Very sneaky. I call it the carbon tax con job. I told you this was going to happen, by the way. Don't say I didn't warn you. He's going to hide the consumer carbon tax for 60 days. And if he's reelected, he'll bring it back bigger than ever with no rebate. Let's be clear. He says that the carbon tax he intends to bring in after the election will be a, quote, shadow carbon tax. And we know that he loves carbon taxes because he publicly advised Trudeau over the last 5 years to raise the taxes even more. But here's what I've got. This is the Liberal carbon tax law. This law cannot be eliminated unless Parliament resumes to vote it down. Mr. Carney could have asked Trudeau to do that months ago. Mr. Carney could have reconvened Parliament today to vote this law down, but he won't.
But that's day 3 and a lie from Mr. Carney. Now, another thing that caught my attention is that people are so tariff crazy and so angry about tariffs. They never were angry about the carbon tax, but they've got, they're feeling very attacked, and the media is supporting them in their feelings. That there's all what's going on with the Chinese. I only started to just briefly look at it, and I had a cursory look, and this is my understanding. In 2024, in October, Trudeau put 100% tariff on Chinese EVs. Now, we don't have a lot of Chinese EVs here in Canada, but he said that tariff would go into place in March of this year, so soon. So the Chinese are like, hey, well, we're not dealing with this. We're going to counter this and put tariffs on canola oil, wheat, meal, pea meal, or what have you, grains, fish, other things. The Chinese have come down hard. They don't take this kind of thing lightly. They think that this is just not the done thing in the way the world works. And so nobody's talking about that much. So it made me think, do we have a lot of Chinese EVs in Canada? And one article from the Toronto Star, this is from October 30th last year, says there are no Chinese vehicles yet in Canada that would be impacted by the tariff, he said. We don't have Chinese EVs, and we have no EV industry to protect yet. We don't have a lot. I know there's some, actually, I'll play a little clip that I found from a YouTube video online.
Economic tensions between Canada and China have spread on a wide front, from electric vehicles to agricultural products.
A 100% tariff on Chinese-made electric vehicles and a 25% tariff on Chinese steel and aluminum.
The Canadian government, China retaliated by imposing additional tariffs on agricultural and food products imported from Canada. So how are Canada's harsh tariffs against China changing the Chinese economy, and how will they affect the Canadian economy? Is there a possibility of a bigger Chinese response? Is this a move by Canada to strengthen its trade bloc with the United States? Canada's imposition of a 100% tariff on electric vehicles from China has completely changed trade relations between the two countries. Yes, it sounds incredible. From Tesla's Shanghai factory to Chinese brand BYD, this new tariff is a big break for many electric vehicles.
So I can understand wanting to protect our EV market, but does that really mean dealing with China retaliating in such a way that he's going to destroy Saskatchewan, for goodness sake, and Alberta, and it's really going to have an effect on us? And Scott Moe has called out Mark Carney because he's saying, why the hell are you going to Paris and to London when we have problems in Canada? And Danielle Smith, the same thing. Like, this bugger, Mark Carney, is going back to Europe. I guess he's got to go home. He's homesick. Instead of staying here in Canada, dealing with China and dealing with Trump. Even at his press conference, the day that he was sworn in, he's like, well, I don't have plans to meet with Trump. So then why do we have you? Why do we have you? This is what Scott Moe had to say.
If the Chinese tariffs go through in a week, that it would decimate the canola industry in Saskatchewan. Can you elaborate on that statement?
Yeah, it'll close crushing plants. I can't be more clear. And the people that will be working in those plants will not have a job for a period of time. More impactful than that. And I would really hope that anyone that is running for the Liberal Party of Canada or any party in the next election listens to these next words. More impactful than a temporary loss of jobs in the canola crush industry is the markets that we are losing. The markets that we are losing are going to be they were incredibly hard to build in the first place, and they're going to be incredibly hard to regain. And so,
okay, so that was Scott Moe on the 13th, March 13th, before Carney was sworn in, 2 days. So he's serious. He's dead serious. And for Carney to not address this as a crucial situation, Why, again, I ask you, why do we have him as this interim prime minister, as this useless figurehead? So I think it's crazy that Francois Champagne, France is saying no. We will not remove the EV tariffs. It's ridiculous because we don't have that many EV cars, Chinese EV cars yet. It's not a huge industry, but canola is, meal is, grain is. You know, China just hit Canada with 100% tariffs on canola oil, oil cakes, peas, and 25% tariffs on pork and seafood. Canada is one of China's top agri-food suppliers, trading 7.6 billion in goods. This is a big deal, and yet all 338 MPs are silent. What the hell is going on in Ottawa? Very good post. Very good post. Western Canada farmers are paying the price again. Ottawa's reckless trade policies pit East versus West, while China weaponizes trade. Instead of protecting farmers, this government makes it worse. End EV tariffs and fix this now. But another great point, but of course, nobody's talking about that. And, Mark Carney loves the Chinese. He says that, oh, they've come a long way with their climate change policies. Have they? I saw that in a David Creighton post. And this is from the Bureau. This is from Sam Cooper. Brookfield's deep ties to Chinese land loans and green deals and a real estate tycoon with CCP links raised questions as Carney takes over from Trudeau. Okay. A review of corporate documents reveals that Brookfield, the influential $900 billion Canadian investment from which Liberal Prime Minister Mark Carney stepped away from in order to replace Justin Trudeau, maintains over $3 billion in politically sensitive investments with Chinese state-linked real estate and energy companies, along with a substantial offshore banking presence. Okay, so one of its major real estate ventures, a $750 million entry into high-end Shanghai commercial property in 2013, involved a Hong Kong tycoon affiliated with the Chinese People Consultative Conference, which the CIA labels a Central United Front entity of Beijing. I don't know. Is Carney going to go and sort of start telling Xi Jingping to stop the tariffs? Basically, Carney has to say, cut the EV tariffs, or Carney has to step aside and let Pierre get in the game. Okay, stop the EV tariffs or reduce the tariffs, because we're really not going to make that much out of that anyway. And for the Chinese to retaliate with, coming after pork, seafood, canola oil, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. We don't want to get in a trade war with China. We don't want to get in a trade war with the US. What are we doing? And our current prime minister has no intention of going to talk to China or talk to Trump right now. That's not on the deck. This guy is a disaster. And on another note, a lot of people are getting stressed out because the media psychosis is happening now, right? You can see everybody's anti-Trump. There's buy Canadian stickers all over the place. Just don't forget when they put the stickers down, which direction to walk. Don't forget when you'd see signs on doors that say, stop. Are you feeling symptoms? Stuff like that. The propaganda is coming. You're being propagandized to yet again. Trump is playing. He's playing with you. He's playing a game. It's 3D chess. I mean, that's what Trump is doing. And he's getting Canada to wake up, because we've needed to wake up, because we're long been asleep. We're getting at least are getting ourselves to think about what we're doing because of what Trump is doing. And so don't fall for this. Well, I know anybody watching me doesn't fall for the Trump delusion, the Trump derangement syndrome, but there's so many people who are doing it now. Oh, yeah, and this is what I'm going to say. Like, people are criticizing Poilievre, like that we don't see enough Poilievre, that he hasn't spoken out enough. I mean, I personally don't feel that way right now. I feel like every time I turn around, I see him somewhere at an event or holding a press conference, or every time I look at X, I look at, YouTube, he's there, he's talking, he's been talking for years. We very well know what he wants to do with immigration, with crime, with building houses, with cultivating oil and gas, with pipelines, with farmers. I wish he'd speak out more about COVID-y stuff and some justice for that. But he's been talking, I mean, going to do another 2-hour long podcast with somebody is great, but also maybe we need him to focus on his game plan, because he doesn't have the media pushing him. So he's got to swim upstream against it. He's got us, he's got the independents. So come to us, strategize, do your game plan, think about what you want to do. But I think he's been doing so much. He's been speaking so much. There's not a conservative among us who doesn't have faith in him. We have faith in him and we want him. So don't lose faith in him. Don't beat him when he's down. Like, lift him up, because we don't want this creepy sucker Carney. Okay? So just remember that. Okay. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a quick like. It helps the algorithm. And it's just nice for me. And if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, that would be awesome. Check out the links in the description. I've got you can follow me on X. Whatever you like to do, I appreciate talking to you and interacting with you guys. It's been great. Okay, we'll talk to you in the next video. Ciao.